Sup YouTube? You want to get this thing working with pedals just like your amps do? Watch this video, we've got 5 tips for you. But anyway, before we get into this though, if you like this sort of video and you find it helpful, leave a comment down below and please subscribe. I'm 3 away from hitting 150, which is pretty cool. You know, so if you want to help me get to 150, you're awesome. But yeah, let's do it. I recently got this for Christmas, the TONEX One, and it has been a game changer for me. Absolutely love it. When I first got this thing though, I had a few dramas getting it to sound good as a pedal platform. So I had a look online and I found a few different forums and that where they've spoken about different tips and tricks to get this thing to take pedals better. So I'm going to share them with you today. My first tip for you: what do you want your clean amp to sound like? So for me, I'm going to go a relatively small, low powered combo sort of amp. I want a Fender-esque clean, but I don't want it to be as, you know, mid-scooped and kind of bright. I want it to be a little bit more warm and a little bit rounder. So I've had a look through TONEX, and one of the sounds that I found that kind of interests me was from Amalgam, and the amp is a Supro 1624T. So this is the preset that we're going to use. So I've loaded it into here, but just so we can see that we're just starting from scratch. So then yeah, I'm pretty happy with that as a starting point. Really early on, you need to figure out if you've got a clean amp that you run your pedals into currently and you like the sound of and you gig with it and you're familiar with it, find a tone match for it. So if you're running a Fender Twin, find a Fender Twin that sounds, you know, close to what you're using currently. Alternatively though, if you've got like a Gen 1 Line 6 Spider and you're running pedals into it, experiment. You've got the flexibility to try any number of things. So have a think about what you want your clean amp to sound like, and then go from there. So tip number 2, when you've got your clean amp loaded into your TONEX One, I want you to open up the TONEX editor and we're going to sort out the input gain. So I'm going to screen record now, and we're going to have a look at that together on how to do that process. All right, so the input gain on the TONEX One, basically what it does is it simulates how hard you're going to hit the front end of an amp. Like I'm using a Telecaster now with single coils, but if you're using something with actives or you're using something with humbuckers, obviously it's going to be higher output, so it's going to hit the front of the amp harder and overdrive more. So what a lot of people suggest is you find a clean amp like we have now, play it as loud as you can on your guitar, and then find where it clips and then just dial it back a little bit. But at the same time too, you've got to factor in that if you're using tube amps as well, they're going to react differently to different guitars. So trying to get the TONEX to behave the same way with all guitars, to me, kind of defeats the purpose of what it is. If you want it to behave like an amp and you're using different guitars, it's going to sound different. It just is what it is. So try and find a happy medium, get the input gain that you want, switch guitars, and then find just like the middle ground that you're happy with. So anyway, in order to do that, we're in the TONEX app now. Click on the Librarian tab. You need to have your TONEX obviously plugged into USB so your computer can see it as well. Then we're going to come up here to where the little sliders are, and then you've got input trim down the bottom. So I'm on the bridge pickup of the Tele, so just you can see the little green bar going up. It's not going to the red and it's not clipping. That is, might even take it down a little bit as well, because if we're going to start hitting with dirt, we don't want it to push too far into that. So that's, the bridge pickup, but then onto the neck. Step 3, you've got your clean amp, you've got your input gain sorted out. I want you to tweak your clean tone. I'm going to do it on the pedal though. There's a lot of different stuff you can do on the TONEX app, but I find not being able to audition the tones while running into the pedal a little bit annoying. So I tend to find a clean amp that I like, load it onto this, and then edit it on the actual pedal itself. So we're going to go through how to do that now. We're still just on that same Supro patch. We're on plus 7 dB for the, or plus 7, whatever increment they want to say, for the input gain. And now As a clean platform, I want my amp to be clean. So in order to turn the gain down, obviously we've got the little green button here, so we're going to click on that. I'm going to turn the gain down past maybe to about 11 o'clock or so. So the way I like my clean sounds is that I want my neck pickup clean. I want my bridge pickup clean. Unless I dig in and... So I'm pretty happy with that. Now, EQ. Let's see what happens if we roll in a little bit more bass. I'm going to take a little bit of mids out just to keep it authentically Fender-esque. If I could play. Now the bass is making it a little bit woolly. So we're going to see what happens if we wind the treble up just a touch. Cool. Obviously, we've got secondary functions with the 3 top rotaries as well. So we're going to click this little button to get into the alt mode. This one here on the far side controls the reverb. So I don't know what the preset reverb is that's on this patch. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to, you know, turn it up halfway. It's going to be way too much reverb, but cool. Turn it back down a little bit. A little bit more. Awesome. All right, step 4. So we've got our clean amp. We're happy with the way that it sounds. We're going to start running our pedals into it. Now, here is the thing that I think a lot of us get caught up on. We've got a pedal board that we use live, or we use for recording, or we use at church on Sundays, or whatever your case may be. And we're happy with the way it sounds into the amps that we have access to. But for some reason, when you plug it into this, it sounds different. It sounds bad. It doesn't sound how we want it to. Why? It isn't a pedal. Think of it as an amp. So when you get a new amp, you're always going to tweak it and play with knobs and that sort of thing to find your sound on the amp. Then you're going to plug your pedals into it and tweak all the knobs on your pedals to get the tones that you want. For some reason, we think plugging into this thing, you just plug in your pedals and everything's going to work perfectly. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you need to tweak. You need to touch your knobs. Don't be scared to touch your knobs, please. Double entendres aside though, we're going to run a little board that I've made up. So my theory behind this, and it's good to have a think about how you want your board to sound as a whole. So my first stage overdrive, I just want to have a little bit of hair on it, just to give me, you know, just that edge of breakup sort of tone. Leading into a ODR1, which is going to be a nice sort of rock rhythm crunch. Then I've got the DemonFX solo, the Sir Riot clone. I'm going to have that set up as more of a high gain rhythm tone, but then when I kick the Zeus into it, it's going to be like my lead boost sort of thing. And then Fuzz, I'm just going to create dirty noise with it. So again, we've got clean tone, bit of reverb, Zeus on, everything at, well, everything off. So we'll just go, put everything on 12 and just see where we're at. Check the volume. Turn the volume back down a little bit. A little bit less drive. Treble up a little bit. Cool, so I'm happy with that. So still clean-esque. Cool. Next, Nobleman, ODR1. Everything off again, so let's go volume in. It's not going to do anything until the gain comes in. And we're looking for a rock sort of crunch on this. Cool. So then let's get the toning. I'll push the gain a little bit more. what happens. Volume. Probably go up just a touch. Alright, happy with that. Next we're going to do the DemonFX solo. So it's set right, high gain tone. What I'm looking for is a nice thick rhythm tone. So first up, let's get the level in just a tiny little bit. Distortion up. A bit more. Cool. Nice. What about tone? Cool. So, double check levels. So just going through that again. First stage. Second stage. Third stage. I reckon the middle one could probably come down a touch. Awesome. So let's double check that we've got our high gain rhythm on engaged as a boost. So we'll see how that goes. And without it. So just subtle, adds a little bit of a bump to it, a bit more sustain. With it off. Cool. Now, fuzz. I want my fuzz to be yuck. So, fuzz. All the way up. Level. Bit of tone. Cool. What's it sound like if you put a clone with a fuzz? Broke a string, doesn't like it. Finally though, the last step is that you've got your clean amp sounding good, you've got your pedals running into it, sounding good, 95% of the way they're happy. And then the last step is just to tweak your TONEX a little bit. I think maybe the bass can come down just a touch. Let's put some mids back into it and see what that sounds like. Cool. Look, I think all in all, for spending 10 minutes on trying to dial in 4 pedals, there are a bunch of usable tones here. Like I said, touchy knobs. Don't be scared to touchy knobs. Get somewhere nice and quiet. Put some headphones on. ASMR yourself touching some knobs. That helps. And if your mum catches you touching your knob, just tell them some stranger on the internet said you're allowed to. Get it all playing nicely the way you want it. Just make those little fine little incremental last touches, and then you should, by rights, have a pedal platform that fits into your pocket that you are happy with. All right, legends, that is how you get good pedal tones out of a TONEX One. Obviously, tone is subjective, so if you don't like what I've done tone-wise, yeah, it is what it is. Do it yourself to your own rig and pull the tones that you like. Just stop thinking of this as a pedal. Think of it as an amp, and it is going to make your life a hell of a lot easier. But anyway, I hope this helps. Like I said, like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let us know if you're using these or, the bigger version of the TONEX Live, and what sort of tips and tricks you might have. Share it with the rest of us. Peace.